The crystal chandeliers cast a warm glow across the Grand Plaza Hotel's private dining room, where my family had gathered for Mom's 60th birthday celebration. The table was set with fine bone china, sterling silver cutlery, and arrangements of white orchids that probably cost more than what my family thought I made in a month. My sister Victoria adjusted her Cartier bracelet, a gift from her investment banker husband. "Emily's here, and actually on time for once," she announced to the table, her voice dripping with fake surprise. "I thought you'd be busy with your, what is it this week? Another startup meeting?" I smoothed down my simple black dress, designer though they'd never guess, and took my assigned seat at the far end of the table, furthest from Mom. "Good to see you too, Victoria. Darling, you could at least have worn something more appropriate," Mom said, eyeing my understated outfit. "Victoria's husband Jonathan got her that gorgeous Versace just last week." I pulled out my phone discreetly, checking the message from my executive assistant. "Forbes interview goes live in 45 minutes. Wall Street Journal standing by." Still glued to that phone, Dad sighed, swirling his aged whiskey. "Probably on one of those dating apps for wealthy men. That's all she does these days, chasing rich men at those networking events of hers." Victoria leaned forward, her diamond necklace catching the light. "Speaking of which, how's that dating profile working out? Found your billionaire yet?" The table erupted in practiced laughter. "I'm not looking for anyone's money," I replied calmly, noticing the breaking news icon flashing on my phone. "Almost time." "Oh please," Victoria scoffed. "We all know about your business meetings at luxury hotels. Just admit it. You're looking for a wealthy husband to solve all your problems." Mom dabbed her lips with her napkin. "Honestly, Emily, at 32, you should focus on finding a good man like Jonathan. All this pretending to be a businesswoman, it's embarrassing." I checked my watch. A subtle Patek Philippe that cost more than their annual salaries combined. The restaurant's TV behind Victoria was showing market updates. "Right on schedule." "Your sister has the right idea," Dad added. "Jonathan takes care of everything. Meanwhile, you're still playing entrepreneur with your little tech project. What was it again? Some kind of software." "Quantum encryption algorithms," I corrected, watching the TV screen begin to change. "And artificial intelligence integration systems." "See?" Victoria smirked. "She can't even explain it clearly. Just admit it's all a cover for hunting wealthy men." The TV switched to breaking news. My sister was too busy laughing to notice, but I saw my own face appear on the screen behind her. The champagne glass slipped from Mom's fingers as the headline scrolled, "Youngest self-made billionaire. Emily Winters Quantum Technologies Revolutionizes Cybersecurity." The shattering glass caught everyone's attention. They turned to see what Mom was staring at, just as the news anchor's voice filled the sudden silence. In a shocking announcement, Emily Winters Quantum Technologies has been valued at $4.2 billion after its latest funding round, making her the youngest self-made female billionaire in tech history. I stood up slowly, straightening my dress. "If you'll excuse me, I have a board meeting to attend." "Happy birthday, Mom." The gift I had delivered to your house might make more sense now. I picked up my phone as it buzzed with an incoming call. "Yes, send the helicopter to the roof. I'll be there in 5 minutes." The look on their faces as I walked out was worth every dismissive comment they'd ever made. The entire room seemed frozen as I walked toward the exit, but the anchor's voice continued. "Emily Winters' groundbreaking quantum encryption technology has been adopted by major financial institutions worldwide, with a Pentagon contract rumored to be in the final stages." "Emily." Dad's voice cracked, a sound I'd never heard before. "Wait. Ms. Winters." The maitre d' appeared at my side, bowing slightly. "Your executive team is assembled in the private helipad lounge. Shall I escort you?" Victoria knocked over her wine glass, the red liquid spreading across the white tablecloth like a metaphor for their bleeding pride. This has to be a mistake," she stammered, her perfectly manicured hands shaking as she pointed at the TV. "Emily can't, she's not." "Not what, Victoria?" I turned back, my voice steady. "Not smart enough. Not successful enough. Not worthy enough." The news coverage continued mercilessly. Sources confirmed that Winters developed the core technology while completing dual PhDs in quantum computing and artificial intelligence. The 32-year-old founder has maintained complete ownership of her company, making her personal net worth. Mom's face had lost all color. But all those meetings, the hotels, were with international banking CEOs and government officials, I finished for her. Those dating apps you mocked? Encrypted communication channels for high-security contracts. That little tech project? It's now protecting 70% of global financial transactions. My phone buzzed again, the Presidential Science Advisor's office. I declined the call. They could wait 5 minutes. Why didn't you tell us? Dad asked, his whiskey glass sitting untouched. I adjusted my watch, letting them see the limited edition Patek Philippe clearly now. You never asked. You were too busy laughing at my failed career, my hopeless dreams, my embarrassing choices. Too occupied setting me up with Victoria's husband's banking friends because clearly, that was my only path to success. The maitre d' cleared his throat softly. Miss Winters, the board is waiting. Of course. I reached into my purse and placed a small envelope on the table. Mom, inside you'll find the deed to this hotel. I bought it last month when I heard you were planning your birthday dinner here. Consider it your gift, though you might want to update the chandeliers. They're a bit dated. The TV was now showing footage of my company's headquarters, a gleaming 50-story building in the heart of the financial district. Victoria's husband Jonathan had tried to buy it last year, not knowing I already owned it. I have to go. The NASA contract needs my signature, and there's a UN Security Council briefing at 9. I smiled genuinely this time. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Oh, and Victoria? That Versace you're wearing? My company owns 51% of their parent corporation now. We should talk about their new technology integration strategy sometime. As I walked out, I heard Mom whisper, Emily, but the rest of her words were drowned out by the sound of helicopter blades as my pilot started the engines. Sometimes success isn't about proving others wrong. It's about proving yourself right. And tonight, in the most dramatic way possible, I'd done both. The first part of their education was complete. Now it was time to show them exactly what their gold-digging daughter could do. The next morning, headlines across every major news outlet screamed my name. The Winters Quantum Revolution, they called it. My phone hadn't stopped buzzing since the announcement, but one notification caught my attention. A family group text. Emergency family meeting. Tonight. 7 p.m. Mandatory attendance. Dad. I smiled, typing a quick response. Board meeting until 8. I'll send my helicopter. The plaza's rooftop at 8:30. 6 responses pinged back immediately. They'd be there. Throughout the day, their desperate attempts at damage control became increasingly apparent. Victoria's husband Jonathan called my office 12 times. Dad's investment firm sent 3 partnership proposals. Even Mom's interior design contacts were suddenly interested in modernizing my company's global offices. At 8:25 p.m., I stood at the plaza's rooftop lounge watching my family arrive one by one. They dressed for battle, designer suits, premium jewelry, their best power outfits. But tonight they weren't the ones with the power. Emily, Mom rushed forward, arms open. She'd changed her signature perfume to match the one I wore at last night's dinner. Darling, we need to talk about. Mrs. Winters, my assistant Sarah interrupted smoothly. Ms. Winters will be with you shortly. Please everyone take a seat. Refreshments will be served. They watched, stunned, as Sarah coordinated with a team of staff who seemed to materialize from nowhere. Within minutes they were seated at a glass table overlooking the city skyline. My city, though they didn't know that yet. I kept them waiting exactly 7 minutes. One for each year they'd mocked my career choice. Thank you all for coming, I said, finally stepping out of the shadows. I'd chosen my outfit carefully. A custom Alexander McQueen suit that cost more than Dad's car. I assume you have questions. Questions. Victoria's voice cracked. You're on every channel. The Wall Street Journal called you the next Edison. The Times. They're calling you the woman who changed technology forever. Good press team, I shrugged, taking my seat at the head of the table. Though they did miss the Mars project announcement. That's next week. Dad leaned forward, his business face on. Emily, we need to discuss the family's involvement in your company. As your father, I have connections. Stop. I held up my hand. Before we continue, let me show you something. I pressed a button on my watch. and the glass table transformed into a high-resolution display. This is a real-time map of my company's global impact. Each light represents a system protected by my encryption. Banking, healthcare, government facilities. The table blazed with millions of points of light. That's impossible, Victoria's husband Jonathan whispered. The infrastructure needed cost $12.7 billion, I finished. Which I funded myself. No investors. No family loans. No rich husband needed, Victoria. Mom's hand trembled as she reached for her water. But all those years, you lived so simply. That tiny apartment. Because I was investing everything into the company. While you were buying summer homes and luxury cars, I was building something that would change the world. I pulled up another display. This is your country club's security system, Dad. And your investment firm's client data. Victoria, your husband's bank? All protected by my technology. You've been using my systems for years without knowing it. The silence was deafening. But now, I continued, we need to address last night. The gold digger comments. The years of dismissal. The mandatory family meeting called because suddenly, I'm worth acknowledging. Honey, we didn't mean, Mom started. I'm not finished. I stood up, walking to the edge of the roof. Tomorrow, I'm announcing a global education initiative. $10 billion to fund women in STEM. And I'm starting with a story. My story. About a family who thought a woman's only path to success was marriage. About siblings who mocked instead of supported. About parents who... I paused, letting them see what their actions had cost them. Your reputations are about to change significantly. Not because I'm vindictive, but because my story needs to be told. So other girls know they don't need to catch success. They can build it. The helicopter's blades began whirring in the distance. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a meeting with the European Union's Cybersecurity Council. Sarah will show you out. I turned back one last time. Oh, and Victoria? That country club membership you love so much? I bought the club this morning. Membership policy changes are pending review. As I walked toward the helipad, I heard Mom burst into tears. But for once, her tears weren't controlling my actions. Success, I'd learned, wasn't just about making money. It was about breaking free from the chains of others' expectations. And I was just getting started. 3 months after the rooftop meeting, I sat in my penthouse office, reviewing the global impact of my revelation. The education initiative had already received 2 million applications from young women in STEM. My story had sparked a movement, but more importantly, it had sparked a change much closer to home. The intercom buzzed. Miss Winters, your mother is here. I looked out over the city skyline, remembering all the times she told me to be realistic about my dreams. Send her in. Mom entered tentatively, a new behavior for her. Gone was the overstated luxury wear, replaced by a simple but elegant business suit. She'd been making changes I'd noticed. Emily, she said softly, clutching a magazine. I saw your cover story in Forbes Women. The one about breaking generational expectations? I kept my voice neutral. Or the one about the Mars colonization project? Both. He placed the magazine on my desk. I've been attending therapy. Trying to understand why I pushed you toward marriage instead of supporting your dreams. Her hands twisted together. I was wrong. So terribly wrong. I gestured for her to sit. You weren't alone in that thinking. Victoria's in therapy too, Mom continued. After you revoked her country club membership. Well, it was a wake-up call. She started a women's mentorship program at her daughter's school. Interesting. I pulled up a holographic display, showing Victoria's program details. I know. I've been monitoring it. It's impressive. And your father. Mom's voice cracked. He's completely transformed his investment firm. 50% of their funding now goes to women-led startups. He says it's his way of making amends for not believing in you. I nodded, pulling up another screen. His firm's performance has improved 312% since implementing that policy. The silence stretched between us, heavy with unspoken words. I saw what you did with the Plaza Hotel, Mom finally said. The new Women's Business Center in the West Wing. The Emily Winters Institute for Innovation, I confirmed. Opening next month. We're offering free technology training to underprivileged girls. Mom's eyes filled with tears. I drive by it every day seeing your name, remembering that birthday dinner. How blind we all were. Standing, I walked to the window. Below, construction crews were working on my next project. A quantum research facility that would revolutionize computing forever. Mom, do you know why I didn't tell you about my success earlier? She shook her head. Because I needed to prove something to myself, not to you. Every dismissive comment, every mockery of my dreams, they became fuel. I built an empire not to spite you, but to show myself it was possible. And now, she asked quietly. I turned, meeting her eyes. Now I'm building something bigger. A world where no other woman has to hear, just find a rich husband, when she says she wants to change the world. My phone buzzed. The president was calling. That's my cue, I said. The quantum defense system presentation starts in 10 minutes. Mom stood, smoothing her skirt. Emily, I know we can't undo the past, but would you consider having dinner with us next week? Victoria's daughter wants to show you her science project. She says she wants to be just like her Aunt Emily. For the first time in years, I felt a genuine smile form. Tell her to bring her project to my office. The quantum lab might interest her. As Mom turned to leave, she paused. You proved us all wrong, Emily. But more importantly, you proved yourself right. No, Mom, I replied, picking up my tablet. I proved that success isn't about proving anything to anyone. It's about believing in yourself when no one else will. After she left, I opened my global operations dashboard. The quantum network was expanding exponentially, my education initiative was changing lives, and the Mars project was ahead of schedule. On my desk, next to Mom's magazine, sat an old photo of me at 12 holding my first computer. Back then they'd called it a hobby. Now they called it a revolution. My assistant's voice came through the intercom. Ms. Winters? The President and Joint Chiefs are ready for your presentation. I straightened my jacket, smiling at the memory of that birthday dinner that changed everything. Tell them I'm on my way. And Sarah? Schedule some lab time next week. I have a niece to inspire. Sometimes the greatest revenge isn't in proving others wrong. It's in showing them a better way to be right. And as I headed to the presentation that would change global security forever, I knew this was just the beginning. Success, after all, isn't a destination. It's a journey of continuous evolution. And I was taking my family, and the world, along for the ride.